We can get in that. Um, it's been crazy.
What a great Monday.
You know, the world's on fire, but what a way to start a week with
free agency, apparently.
With free agency. So is free agency. You could say free agency is just we were sitting here talking before we started recording about where to start. I was just going to start with the team who I thought won at least day one, if not has so far won the offseason, if we're talking about that. And that is the Las Vegas Raiders. They have won the offseason. So they started off the offseason so far by trading edge rusher Max Crosby.
Top 5 edge rusher Max
Top Crosby. 5 edge rusher Max Crosby.
Another top 15 pick.
Two first overall picks. The Ravens won in next year, and then pick 14. So they have 2 picks in the top 5 on top of they have the first overall pick and pick 15. Then they opened up free agency by not only signing two of the top 5 linebackers in this class. They got Quay Walker from Green Bay and Nakobe Dean from Philadelphia.
And they got Linderbaum.
They also signed Linderbaum. And then they added former Michigan and Indianapolis Colt Kwity Paye, signing Jalen Naylor and Eric Stokes. And they extended Eric Stokes. Not all
crazy deals, by the way. I think Linderbaum's their biggest one.
So Linderbaum's their biggest one, 3 years, $81 million, with $60 of that guaranteed. Their next biggest deal was Kwity Paye.
Walker had a 40 mil.
Yeah, Kwity Paye was 3 years, $48 mil.
Yeah.
Walker 3 years, 40.5 mil. Nakobe Dean 3 years, 36 mil. And then they brought in Jalen Naylor to be basically wide receiver 2.
Linderbaum is huge for them. He's 25.
Yeah, and I mean, as of right now, they're essentially just gearing up to take Mendoza 1.
Yeah,
their offensive line was terrible last year.
I've been saying there's no way they go Mendoza. Everything is screaming they're taking Mendoza.
Right? And if they're not taking Mendoza at 1, they're stupid. Unless let's say the Bengals come and go, we'll give you Joe Burrow and our first round pick this year for the number 1 overall pick. Fucking, I'm doing it. Or we'll give you Joe Burrow in a 3rd. Great. I still have a first round pick in this year. Fine. But right now they're gearing up to take Mendoza. And as of right now, I just saw, I think they traded for Taron Johnson.
Just now?
Just now.
I'm refreshing Adam.
19 hours ago, Bills trading veteran Taron Johnson, the Raiders, for a 6th round pick. Mm-hmm. So that happened yesterday, but I think it became official today.
Chris, I almost wanted to ask you if you wanted to do a live stream.
I was at work. I was fucking flipping burgers, and my phone would buzz, and I'd go, and my manager would walk over and go, "Yeah, this guy just went here," and I was like, "Makes sense." So the Raiders have so far definitely won the offseason.
Lions signed Kyle Allen,
and they're gonna be the Raiders are gonna be my favorite.
Oh no, he's signed with the Bills. My bad.
Who? Kyle Allen?
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne went to the Niners. I'm just getting caught up. I literally just got caught up with everything earlier. How are you going to throw the ball on Houston's defense?
Who do they have?
They have Reed Blankenship.
White Boy Reed?
Dude, how the fuck
Ku Klux Clamps?
Are you supposed to throw that ball?
One half of the Ku Klux Clamps?
Exciting Whites?
Exciting Whites?
Secondary, dude? That's so crazy.
Well, I mean, the Houston Texans, so they got David Montgomery for mid-level offensive lineman, a 4th round pick and a 7th round pick is what they gave up for David Montgomery. And then they re-signed Trent Brown. They re-signed an offensive lineman. They basically re-signed everyone, extended Danielle Hunter by 1 year. 1 year, $40 million for Danielle Hunter. Aww. And then the only signing they've made is Reed Blankenship. That's the only signing they've made.
So I have another thing just because while we're on the topic, and this was like a huge discussion I've had in fantasy just because of the last season. So Bayshaw Tootin is now the RB1 in Jacksonville, right?
Yes.
And Travis Etienne is a free agent, right?
Well, yeah, technically.
Basically.
I mean, he
Who do
signed
you
with the
think goes
Saints.
for him? Minnesota?
What?
Do you think Minnesota's going for him? The Saints go for him? It seems
Who?
like the Saints want him.
ETN? Well, ETN so far, as of last time I checked,
Did he sign?
he signed with the Saints. Yeah, Travis
Okay,
Etienne signed 4 years,
that tells
$52
us
million.
everything, yeah. So now here's my thing with the Jags, right? Now what? Because they're also thinking about moving BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr.
The problem is I don't know who you're gonna get for Brian Thomas Jr.
picks.
But like you're not gonna get a great pick because you've made it known you want to move him. You're not getting a first. That's a guarantee. Teams aren't going to pay you a first. You don't have any leverage. So no. I guess then you're getting
no way they get a first for Brian.
So at most you're probably getting a late second, if not a third, for him. Is it almost? I feel like the problem with the Jags is the Jags at the deadline made a mistake. And, well, not necessarily made a mistake. Extending Jacoby Myers, I think, was their mistake right off the bat. Not trading for him. I think trading for him did wonders. But extending him without having a serious conversation of whether Brian Thomas Jr. is on the team going forward. Because he's a former first-round pick. He was taken, 14th overall?
Yeah.
I think. So you have the former first-round pick coming off a stellar rookie year. And then he had a down season in 2026. Let me see what his stats are. But he had a sophomore slump, which is essentially what most people have in their second year, which is teams now have tape on me. They know how to defend me. And
I also dropped the ball a lot this year.
But you can easily clean up drops just by having him, like, your entire offseason needs to be spent on the jugs machine. Okay. Like, I think a lot of those drops were concentration drops. Yes. So his rookie year, he went, he had 87 receptions for 1,300 yards, basically. And then he fell off by about 500 yards with a 707. 48 receptions on 14 targets. He played 14 games with 2 games hurt. If I'm Jacksonville, why are you getting rid of him? Like, I get you have Jacoby Myers as your 1. He's established the 1. Parker Washington's your 2. You keep Brian Thomas Jr. as your 3. Because who's to say Parker Washington doesn't fall off or Jacoby Myers doesn't flop next year?
Mm-hmm.
Why get rid of him? Why get rid of a 23-year-old wide receiver who's cheap, by the way? And you hold him for 5 years, basically.
Top 25 receiver in the league, 100%.
Yeah, he's cheap. He's cheap, and he has
Panthers
have him for 5 years.
It's a 1-year deal.
Like, I don't know how you get rid of him.
I think another team, number 2 team that won today, the Giants.
Well, you mean the New York Ravens?
Yeah, the New York Ravens. Because they just got Tremaine Edmonds. They re-signed. I'm gonna butcher the fuck out of his name.
Jermaine Illuminor.
Yes, thank you. They just got Likely. I honestly think this team this year, they did just lose Wan'Dale Robinson, which honestly, I'm pretty sure everyone and their mother saw that happening.
Yeah, but you can replace him.
You could definitely replace him.
Replace him.
So with that being said, looking at this mock draft they have Caleb Downs going to the Giants. So that has some.
Is this Adam Schefter's mock draft?
Yes. So with that being said, I think the Giants either try to get like a decent wide receiver 2 to get behind Malik Neighbors in free agency or the draft here.
Yeah.
because who the hell were they looking at for running backs? Who the hell were they looking at? Kenneth Walker. They were interested in Kenneth
So
Walker.
they were interested in Kenneth Walker, which we're going to get to in a minute because, again, welcome to the 2020s. You can't have anything nice in the world.
Sorry, I'm eating off camera. I don't want to be
No
smashed.
worries. Yeah, like the Giants can go anywhere. Like because they can easily replace Waddell Robinson. They can take the first, if not the second, wide receiver off the board. But if we're gonna talk draft here after day one, and there's still a ton of free agents available. Right, Trey Hendrickson's still available. Kyler Murray's still up for grabs. Devin Lloyd's still up for grabs. Jaquan Brisker, Rasheed Walker, who's a decent offensive tackle. Tariq Woolen. Shaheed resigned. Yeah, he resigned with
Seattle. Just went back to Seattle.
Nick Cross. You still got Romeo Dobbs. Leo Schnell, the linebacker from Chiefs, available. Braxton Jones, AVT. Jawan Jennings is a free agent.
You guys just got Jalen Phillips, right?
Yeah, we signed him.
Yeah, that's huge, right?
You still have Stephon Diggs. Yeah. What was his 4 years, 120 mil was what we signed.
80 mil guarantee. It says it.
You have Deebo Samuel still available, right? Just looking at a wide receiver perspective, they can eat Keenan Allen. Yeah, they're older prospects, or they're not older prospects. So they're older players, but to be a wide receiver too, give Jackson Dart a reliable piece, and then you can draft a guy in free agency or draft a guy in draft a rookie. Jesus Christ. But like, I like the Isaiah Likely signing. He's a receiving tight end. He gives Jackson Dart another weapon. Illuminor helps keep him upright. Edmonds is a really good linebacker.
Dude, the Chiefs got Kenneth Walker on a really good deal. 3 years, 45 mil.
Really? You think that's a good deal? I thought it was an overpay. That's about.
I feel like it's a really good price, like contract for a running back, especially at his age, because
he's coming off
also pretty injury free for the most part.
Yeah,
for the most part, at least. So, I feel like that's a pretty.
It's about 15 mil a year.
Mike Evans contract with the Niners. He's so fucking old.
But like there was day one of
the Titans. Okay, thank you. Adam.
And technically, it's not even free agency. Really hasn't even started either. That starts Wednesday. This is the legal tampering period. But like, if I'm the NFL, I just say free agency starts now because all these people like, you basically got the news now. But like, there's
the Saints are loaded up right now, dude.
Well,
they're getting ready. They
have a 26-year-old quarterback who they draft in the second round. At this point, why not? But it's like I was thinking about it as I was kind of getting ready for the show. Every so often in sports, you have that like landscape changing free agency or landscape changing offseason. And this feels like one of those types of deals, even though there isn't like massive like names being moved. It's a lot of depth, solid players. But it's
you don't like the Kenneth Walker deal. Looking at the Javonte Williams re-sign.
Yeah, but like there isn't too many big names moving. You have a couple, but it's more because the fact that the guys on the move are just depth, solid pieces that you're like, yeah, okay, he's not going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's gonna play 4 years for a team. Yeah,
like Isaiah Likely's should be decent.
Mm-hmm. But like, there's still just so many names available. It's just, and it's day one. Like,
I hate this Kenneth Walker deal now because Javonte Williams is a better running back, and he got re-signed for 3 years, 24 mil.
Well, but like, I get Walker. You're gonna have to pay up a little bit. He's super MVP. Should he have been?
That literally means nothing. It's just a fucking game he played good in.
But he did. But like, the funny thing is, they shouldn't have given him the MVP. The MVP should have gone to the kicker because if the kicker sucks, that game is not a 27-14, 27-19 game, whatever it ended up being. Like, it's a closer game than that. But for day one, it was what kind of it wasn't necessarily what I expected. Like I expected a lot more names to be signed, I guess. But again, this is day one, so there'll probably maybe even some news drop tonight, definitely tomorrow morning, right? So like reports I've heard,
Where did Rico Dowdle go? He just went somewhere.
He went to the Steelers.
Yeah.
But reports I've heard, right? Devin Lloyd is in negotiations with both the Panthers and the Bengals, where like reportedly the two teams who are in the lead to sign him. Don't know what that's going on. The Panthers. I don't know if the Panthers have the cap space to it, but again, there's also like malign things that there's going to be a couple guys they'll cut, they'll trade, they'll release, restructure to get that money to sign him. You still have a couple of decent safeties. Offensive tackles are still on the board. Like for day one, it was exciting because you had Jamel Dean, who's the NFL or CBS has ranked as the 24th best free agent, going to the Steelers. Isaiah Likely went to the Giants. The Chiefs secondary got decimated.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like their starting safety went to the Bengals. Their number 2 corner went to the Rams. Their number 1 corner went to the Rams. And it was the Trent McDuffie trade is interesting.
Contract, dude, Jesus Christ.
Well, he's the highest paid corner.
Christian Gonzalez, you're a gazillionaire.
Bro is about to bankrupt. You know the reason Foxborough is not giving the World Cup access to their coffers? They're saving all that money to pay Christian Gonzalez. The town of Foxborough's taxes are going to rise purely for Gonzo. But like the McDuffie deal, I get it. The Rams have struggled for the past couple of seasons drafting and developing corners, and that was the biggest weakness they had.
This mock draft has Jeremiah Love going to the Commanders
at 7. He could fall. I think that's the extent he falls. If he falls past 7, I don't know who scoops him up. Right, like he could if he gets out of the top 10. I think he falls
past 7. It's Minnesota.
Like yeah, but. Like back to the McDuffie deal.
Yeah.
The Rams struggled for a long time to kind of develop and draft corners. That's just been their weakness. They haven't really ever been a team to draft corners. They're decent at drafting safeties, but they traded for Jalen Ramsey right back when they won their first Super Bowl. They signed Emmanuel Forbes, who's meh. He'll play a couple good snaps. He's okay. But then they went out this offseason and said, okay, our biggest need is corner. And the Chiefs, luckily, needed to cut cap space. They needed to just reset, basically.
Yeah,
so they traded McDuffie.
Patrick Mahomes got hurt so late into the season with the PCL.
Well, you still don't know if he's coming back, which is I'll tie that into the Kenneth Walker thing. But it's like they traded. So the Chiefs, to cut cap and to save some cap space, basically went, hey, we're going to give you McDuffie. Give us the 29th pick, a 3rd, and a 5th, and there you go. And then the Rams went out and said, well, that's not enough. We need people we know who could play. We could trust on an island, play man coverage, and defend essentially Seattle's receiving core. Because that's who you're chasing right now in the NFC and in the NFL is how can you defend or recreate what Seattle did. So they went out and signed Jalen Watson, 3 years, $51 million from the Chiefs. They basically said, not only are you going to give us your best corner, you're going to give us our second best corner, but we're going to, and basically we're giving up equivalent to a 2nd round pick. And that ties into the Chiefs need a reset, especially with Patrick Mahomes coming off basically tearing everything in his knee and no one knowing if he's going to be ready for the start of the season. Right? Like the reports going, oh yeah, he's going to be fine for the start of the season. He's going to start week 1. And then some were like, he's not coming to like week 6, week 7. And that ties into them signing Kenneth Walker with essentially just we don't know who our backup quarterback is going to be because they don't. Gardner Minshew's a Cardinal. We don't know who they're going to take. They could go with Oludokun. They could draft a kid and say, screw it. We'll throw the rookie out there for 6 weeks.
Yeah, right.
See what we have. But in order to do that, you need a running game, something they didn't have last year. So you sign the best running back in the second best running back in free agency, with Breece Hall being the best. But he's franchise tagged. So you get the best available running back for essentially $15 million a year. which I think is an overpay for a running back.
So
but
fucking funny.
It's
I'm sorry. This picture I have pulled up of him on Twitter. I can't. Dude. Oh my god, that's so fucked up.
It's crazy, but like, there were so many moves made that I think ended up bettering the teams that made them, and also changed the way. Like, the one thing I'd said to you was, we don't know what the draft looks like until after free agency.
Yeah,
We've had one day. I still don't know what this draft looks like.
Besides Raiders taking Mendoza,
like outside, but the picks 32nd through pick 32, no idea.
No idea.
I've seen people go, well, the Jets could take Jeremiah Love at 2. It's like, well, you just franchise tag Breece Hall.
But why the fuck would you do that?
But you could take the best running back and look at Breece Hall and go, okay, now you're expendable since we're not going to clearly reach a long-term deal.
That'd be the most petty shit ever to do for.
Yeah, but it's the Jets.
You're gonna fucking draft Jeremiah Love after you just franchise tag the top 10 running back, dude. You're just pissing that guy off because you just traded everyone he fucking used to play with away. Now he's stuck on your shitty franchise for another fucking year because you won't let him go.
He's like, this draft just. And I can't, I'm going to keep prefacing this because it's something I think we just have to remind ourselves time and time again that it is only day one. There's still one more day of the tampering period and then free agency starts. And there's still a month and a half, about a month till the draft happens.
Right.
Like we genuinely do not know. And I don't think you'll know what this draft, like, where you can predict players until maybe 2 days before the draft, where you go, okay, we know this team had X number of players, talked to this player at the combine, brought him in for a visit, brought him in for a top 50 visit. Right.
A Steeler.
What?
Michael Pittman's a Steeler?
Yeah, they signed Alec Pierce, then traded Michael Pittman. I don't know. I just don't. And that gets to like the second point of just this free agency, which is the head scratching moves that were made by some teams, right? Like, just example. So Alec Pierce, 4 years, $160 million is his deal. That's the deal that the Colts got him. The Patriots were willing to pay him $120 million over 4 years. And he went, fuck that, I'm going back to Indianapolis. Mind you, Indianapolis so far does not have a quarterback because Daniel Jones is still a free agent. He just has the transition tag.
Dude, he wants to get paid $50 fucking million a year.
He's not getting paid $50 million off a goddamn Achilles tear.
A ruptured Achilles. Like, are we so dead ass?
Exactly. But
dude, you were notorious. You were the perfect replacement for Eli Manning. For the good reasons, because you're a fucking meme, dude. You're a fucking meme.
Flat on his face.
You had a wide open lane to a touchdown and got tackled by a blade of grass.
Bro tripped.
You were wide open. No one was near you, and you fell over, dog. You want $50 fucking million a year? Please.
I just had a report. So Rappaport just put out that the market on Devin Lloyd is heating up, and it could be around a $15-16 million deal for a linebacker. Like, that's like per year, which is insane. But like, you have those head scratching moves right. Pierce
to the Saints.
Pierce turns down more money to return to Indianapolis. Whether or not you think that's a good idea, whatever. I didn't see him working in the Patriots offense because he's essentially Kayshon Boutte, just taller. Mm-hmm. Right? He's a big chunk play guy. Drake May doesn't need that. Drake May needs a guy who can not only get the 50-yard play, but can also catch a ball 5 yards and know how to get in and out. Like, he needs a true number one.
You think the Steelers are going QB
in the draft?
Michael Pittman, Rico Dowdle, a bunch of offensive moves.
I don't know if they're going to go QB in the draft. If anything, right, they haven't. They could do that. They haven't reset. They're like, I still think Aaron Rodgers is coming back. Like, part of me thinks he just won't sign until after the draft because he's waiting for the Steelers to not like. I think knowing Aaron Rodgers and who Aaron Rodgers is.
Titans don't need to draft fucking anything defensively.
No.
Holy shit, dude. They signed like 3 secondary players today.
But like what was I saying? What was I talking about? Jesus Christ. Broke my brain. No, yeah, Steelers quarterback. Like, I still think Aaron Rodgers is coming back. But knowing who Aaron Rodgers is, I think he's going to do it. He's going to pull what he did last year, which is he's basically going to wait till the night of the draft, if not a day after the draft, to go, yeah, I'm
got to make it about himself. He's got to.
What?
Asshole.
Who? Aaron Rodgers?
Got to make everything about himself. He does it every fucking year.
And I think
he's like a fucking girl.
Like, I think he genuinely won't sign until after the first round, until he sees if the Steelers are going to draft a kid at 21.
I swear to God, these 30 to 40-year-old men have more girl tendencies than women do. No offense.
Like, it's the funniest thing ever, because if I'm the Steelers, I just go with like
so attention needy.
And like, let's say the Steelers don't go quarterback in the draft and just look at Rodgers and say we're not signing. They have some pieces to at least see what they have and roll Howard for a year and then go, okay, he sucks. And if he sucks, he sucks. If he balls out, great, we have a guy.
I still can't believe Cole Strange is getting fucking news on him getting signed, dog.
He's getting signed.
Probably the worst first round pick I've ever seen get drafted.
Well, yeah, because you saw the video of Sean McVay and the Rams GM hearing his announcement, and they looked at each other and they went, "We had him in the 5th round," and I was like, "Yeah, the most I think you could take was the 4th."
There's one guy in the NFL that at line. He's on the Broncos. That came from a D3 school. And he's like insane. Cole Strange? What?
Why? Like,
I'm Bill Belichick. I like to play. I like to do everything the hard way. I'm gonna run the greatest quarterback of all time out of town by trading for Mohamed Sanu, and then Robert Kraft isn't going to protect our guy. I have so much beef with all these Pats fans right now because of the whole Tom Brady was going to trade Max Crosby. So obviously, my friends are Patriots fans. All freaking, he just fucked us. What does he owe you guys?
Well, it's not even that.
You guys gave him a statue. He gave you 6 fucking Super Bowl rings and consistent winning seasons for 20-something years.
If you're complaining that the Raiders didn't trade you Max Crosby, I'm sorry. Do you see what the Ravens gave up? The Ravens gave up 2 first-round picks. Yes, you made it to the Super Bowl. Who says you don't take a step back this year and are picking in the top 20, top 15? Who says you don't have your wide receiver core is Kayshon Boutte and Pop Douglas? You're basically where you were Drake May's rookie year. You have no one, right? Like, your offensive line, yes, is Will Campbell's knees at 100%. Do I think he's a solid left tackle? Yeah, but you still need a center. You traded your center. He doesn't owe you to trade you Max Crosby. And the funny thing is, the Raiders were also talking to the Cowboys. The Cowboys offered them a first and a second, and the Raiders went, "Nah, we're gonna have 2 first-round picks." One of them's top 15. The one next year is probably going to be in the back half of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, the Raiders would rather have 2 first-round picks.
If the Patriots want to give up their first-round pick 31, yeah, dude, just give me 2 seconds at that point.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Like,
that's why I tried explaining. That's why I tried explaining to them. I'm like, the value of these draft picks are so different just because of where they are, and that's why when you suck, you get rewarded better draft picks. The Ravens made a good move, honestly. I feel like
they needed pass rush, and so do the Patriots. But I'm not
trading my top 5 under 30 years old edge rusher for the 31st pick
for a bag of chips,
round, and then potentially another pick the same way next year. I'm not doing it.
It's not even that, and I was reading through the details, and I had this just kind of understanding. It's the 2 first-round picks the Ravens get for Max Crosby, in my opinion, is just too much. And yes, we've said it before, Max Crosby is a top 5 edge rusher. So you're going to give up a first round pick. I think it was too much purely because he's heading to 30. And I'm not a fan of giving up multiple first round picks. I think you should keep your first round picks because those are the guys who potentially, they may not be blue chip prospects where you're picking them, but they're guys who. I
understand why they did it, though. I understand why.
You need it. And
the prospects for edge rushing this year is it caps at Bain. And it's like two other people before him, and like one person after Bain.
And the funny thing is they're all, but also the edge rushing class are all developmental. So you're going to need 2-3 years to develop.
You know what you're getting with Max Crosby.
Max Crosby getting about 12 sacks a year.
Like 3 edge rusher in the league. And you're getting someone who's reliable, who doesn't get hurt, and he wants to fucking play.
So yes, okay. I never it was too rich for me, but that's purely because I'm against trading 2 first round picks.
This was smart because you look at the James Pierce situation.
Yeah,
it's what you're getting with Max Crosby. He was a former alcoholic.
Yeah,
or something. Yeah,
former addict. Yeah,
that's it. There's nothing crazy coming with that. So I feel like it was a pretty clean move.
I get I'm not, as much as I will say it's too, I would not give up 2 first round picks. To your point, I get it. You need edge rusher. The Ravens badly need edge rusher because it helps to take off pressure on your secondary. And the Ravens secondary was terrible. You also you pair him with Kyle Hamilton, so that adds you have a guy in the front 7 and a guy in the second level who are excellent. You're also in a conference or in a division where you have one of the best receiving cores in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
You also are playing the Browns project to be somewhat decent, and the Steelers, who
we'll touch on those guys, and
the Steelers are always 8-9, 9-8. But the one person out of this entire thing I feel bad for is Joe Burrow, because the Bengals so far have not spent on their offensive line, and they now have to play.
They have
to play the best edge rusher in the league in Myles Garrett twice. They have to pay another top 5 edge rusher, Max Crosby, twice. They have to pay T.J. Watt twice, and and so if I'm Joe Burrow, I'm calling my GM going, can we sign just every available offensive lineman, please?
Okay, so speaking of offensive line and free agency, there are some decent pieces out there. So, because obviously I'm a Browns fan, the first time since the 70s or 90s, the first time a team's had the entire offensive line hit free agency.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, tracking Browns free agency signings, add offensive line help. Here we go. Zion Johnson. Fuck.
They overpaid for a guard.
Oh, fuck, dude.
3 years, $50 million. He's not a bad guard. He's a pretty decent guard.
Yeah, but he's on the Chargers, bro.
He was 3 years ago when he was coming out from Boston College, there was legitimate hype that he could have been a first-round pick. No, he would have been back half first round. But everyone's he's probably a first round pick. Went in the second round, but I don't think it's an overpay for 3 years, $49 million for Zion Johnson.
Tackle. It was a right tackle.
No, Zion Johnson's a guard. He projects. He plays guard.
Is this? No, they traded. They traded for a tackle.
Yeah, they got Titus Howard, who's okay.
Duh.
I'm not pooping myself for Titus Howard.
Hands are off the Browns here. Okay, I don't give a fuck about them. Just re-sign Batonio.
But there's even that. But there's still some decent offensive tackle free agents available.
Guards,
right? You have Elijah Vera Tucker, who's who when healthy, he's a really good guard, and he's the Jets and franchise tag him. I would not be shocked if the Browns said we're going to get him. You could get Rasheed Walker, who's only 26. Is a really good tackle from Green Bay, former 7th round pick. He's a solid, he's about league average as a left tackle, but he's solid for what you need him to be, which is a left tackle, right?
I got a quick baseball update.
Yeah.
All my shit there we go. 5-0 USA over Mexico right now.
Woo! But so like
yeah,
you have Rashid Walker, Elton Jenkins,
Elton John.
who's an older offensive lineman, but he can basically play all over the offensive line. You have another older offensive lineman, Braden Smith from the Colts, who could be a right tackle. He's coming off injury, but he's a solid right tackle. I wouldn't mind starting for a little bit. You're not bringing back Wyatt Teller.
No, he's done.
Right?
There's no way they bring back Jack Conklin. There's no fucking way.
You could sign Kevin Zeitler as a guard, bring him back to Cleveland.
Maybe.
Like there's still some Jawan Taylor. Yes, he tends to get flagged a lot, but if all else fails, you bring him back. You bring him on a 1-year deal and call it a day.
First rounders this year, so just draft offensive tackle, the kid from Utah or Miami.
Yeah,
and then you kind of solve your offensive line problem because it's already decent, especially if you retain Petonio.
Exactly, and I don't think it's out of the question for the Browns to double dip. To take two offensive linemen, because the one issue
your later first round pick should honestly be more focused at wide receiver help. Honestly.
No, I agree with you, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's like pick 6 we're taking Francis Mauigoa from Miami, and then at pick 24 you're taking the second offensive lineman from Caleb Lomu, you're taking the second offensive lineman from Utah. I would be sitting there going, okay, that yes, they need offensive line.
That'd be crazy. Honestly.
Double dip. And I think this receiver class, which is the second area they need, is just as deep in this draft, where you can get a guy in the second, third round and be like, yeah, he's he could be receiver 2, receiver 3. But it's not out of the question for Cleveland to select 2 offensive linemen. And I think you could see the reasoning of, you don't have a starting quarterback right now. Right now, your starting quarterback is Shedeur Sanders. Is he a long-term option?
Maybe. We could see. We'll have to see.
Right? But if not,
even,
then you're picking...
even then, they also have 2 first-round draft picks next year.
Yeah. And even then, yeah, you're still...
quarterback draft class
is
going to be even more loaded, especially because, Archie Manning... Deontay Moore.
You get the kid from Ohio State, Julian Sayin.
Yeah, Julian Sayin.
There's
who the hell's a Nebraska kid?
Raiola, he's eligible. Yeah. I don't think he comes out purely because he's, as of right now, he's still the backup at Oregon behind Dante Moore, so I don't think he comes out. Was it 2027 QB draft class? Let me figure this thing out. So here's who's available for next year's draft. Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, Arch Manning. You have CJ Carr from Notre Dame, Jaden Maivia from South Carolina. Oh, not South Carolina, sorry. Southern California. You have Lenore Sellers from USC, yeah. Then you have Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. Yeah. Drew Mestamaker from Oklahoma State. Yeah. Sam Levitt who's playing at LSU, John Mateer, who's at Oklahoma, Brandon Sorsby, who's at Texas Tech. You get the Ole Miss quarterback who is currently fighting the NCAA in court to go back for a 6th year.
He's going to win that.
He's probably going to. You get Byron Brown, who's at Auburn, right? Those are just the top 12 quarterbacks in this class, and we're not even talking about DJ Lagway, who could be a sneaky person in late first round. Nico Imalava. Darian Mensah, the Duke quarterback.
I'm tanking if I'm the Browns next year. I'm getting a top 10 pick again, and I'm taking one of the top 5 quarterbacks.
So you have 2 first-round picks, and you have Jacksonville's other first-round pick, and you have your own. And so there is a way where I think you go into the season with, we're going to see what we have in Shedeur. If he sucks, great. We know we need to get a quarterback. If he shows flashes, it's like, great. We still might need to get a quarterback, but if we're picking outside the top 10, we're not stressing because we have a guy we know who can at least play the position if he just lights it up. But if he doesn't, I think you could easily package those 2 first-round picks to move up into the top 5 to get one of these guys. Easily, because if I'm a team sitting at 5 who does need a quarterback and there's a team that needs a quarterback, I'm taking 2 first-round picks and maybe a third or a fourth, like a 4th-round pick swap to kind of go and just move around. But that's just me.
Yeah, I get it. Also, who DJ Moore to the Bills.
Oh yeah,
Almost
we didn't talk about
almost
that. We
forgot
didn't talk
about
about the
that.
trades.
I feel like that's a good pickup for them, honestly. They still have Shakir, right? Or Shakir free agent.
No, I still have Shakur. They released Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, okay, so here's their wide receiver core, right?
Mm,
DJ Moore,
yep.
you with Josh Allen, he could retain the potential. He's how old? He's like 27, right? He's not that old.
20. Hold on.
He's not 30. That's all I know. He's not 30.
DJ Moore is 28.
Yeah, right.
But
He's not 30.
and I think the things we've heard about him of him being a lazy wide receiver is not correct. Like I watched him in Carolina for years. And I always thought he was a top 10 receiver just purely based off
This
statistics.
is why I wanted to talk to you about DJ Moore instead of
Like
anyone else, because you've
I
actually watched him.
yeah, I always thought he was a top 10 receiver. He's a guy who can make catches and make tough contested catches and finds a way to kind of stay on his feet always and can break tackles. I think the idea that he can be lazy on routes sometimes is it's not necessarily true. I think purely what everyone says as well, everyone points to when they lost in the playoffs and Caleb Williams threw a dot and DJ Moore looked like he gave up on the route. And I think it was purely DJ Moore didn't realize he was the main target there. Also, Caleb Williams underthrew that ball. I think that's the one thing we forget. He underthrew the ball, and maybe because Moore drifted deeper, but when you're trying to get into the end zone, drift deeper, get close to the end zone, it's Caleb Williams can make that throw. We saw him do it. He underthrew that ball. It's not DJ Moore's fault. And I think this is a great pickup by the Bills because he's a just contested catch monster who's got enough speed and is a really savvy route runner. And I just think the problem is he had a down year in Chicago and everyone, well, and I think he and Caleb Williams just weren't seeing eye to eye. And I think it's partly because Roman Dunze and Luther Burden were emerging, and DJ Moore was the number one who became the number 3. And you sit there, you go, if you're a number 1 wide receiver, Bill is number 1 wide receiver, and you turn into the number 3, you're gonna be pissed because you're like, I'm higher paid than these guys. I should be getting the whatever. But I think this is a good pickup for the Bills purely because now they get a legitimate number 1 wide receiver, and DJ Moore isn't too much of a diva like AJ Brown or a Stephon Diggs.
So here's what I'm gonna say. So I feel like he does have a diva-ish tendency. I feel like his gameplay, and the reason why people call him a lazy wide receiver is because if you're not utilizing him in the first half, it's like AJ Brown. Like, why are you using me now?
Yeah, why are you turning to
me? Why are you throwing the ball to me now? So I feel like he just demands more attention. Yeah. And in that offense on the Bears, like you have Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, two really good running backs, and you have Colston Loveland and then Cole Kmet. Yeah. It's a lot of names there. It's the same problem they have in Green Bay. It's a lot of mouths to feed there. So this is a really good pickup for the.
And it only cost him a second round too.
Yeah, and that's really fucking good considering what.
Right. They got
Bears lost.
So the Moore. Bills got DJ Moore and a 5th round pick for a 2nd round pick. It's just straight up.
That's pretty good, honestly.
I think that's pretty good value, and the Bills are getting a legit receiver. Do I still think the Bills take a receiver in the draft? If there's one sitting at, what are they selecting, 29? Wherever they're selecting, if there's a receiver sitting there, yes. I think they still take a guy. Because I think you need to load up because Khalil Shakir cannot be your number 2.
This is going to be like a whole Stephon Diggs situation, but a lot more controlled, right? Because I feel like Diggs left Minnesota because it was the same thing. He demanded way more attention, right?
And they had Adam Thielen, who's more arguably was more reliable
at the time. Was like a top 10 wide receiver. And they, like, I don't know, they also got Justin Jefferson the next fucking year.
Yeah, the next in that draft after they traded him, they basically got
So it's not like they really lost anything there, and it's like the Bears. And instead of like losing, like they're not really, they're more, if anything, I feel like they're like wide receiver core because they're not keeping Cole Kmet anymore because they already have Cole.
No, they are.
They're keeping him. Okay, so
I think they're going to run. They're going to run
Luther Burden,
tight end sets, yeah.
And then you have Rome Odunze. Those guys are clapping because they're like, we get more production. It's going to be less drama. It's going to be less hard to game plan around like certain other people, right? Of course, having like that many options on your team is good, but then you get to the point where it's like you have too many mouths to feed. And that's why DJ Moore to the Bills would be good, because Josh Allen, because like they had to move the ball around because they had nobody. The Bears situation is they had to move the ball around because they had people.
Too many, yeah.
So I feel like it's really good.
It's a beneficial trade for both. I just don't like it. Like, as someone who was a fan of DJ Moore and watched him and was pissed when the Panthers chose to trade him, again, don't get me started. Scott Fitterer should be arrested, put in Guantanamo. Honestly, send him to the front lines in Iran at this point. I would not be surprised if that regime was funding him. Like, they traded DJ Moore, and they're in a first-round pick, and they traded DJ Moore, the pick they had that year, the first-round pick they had next year, and a second-round pick. So they traded DJ Moore and 3 picks for Bryce Young. Now, if you're moving up to select your quarterback of the future, why the hell are you trading away your number one wide receiver? This has bugged me, because we all sit there and everyone's like, well, yeah, Bryce. I get it. Bryce does look good, but there's two other players the Bears wanted. They wanted Derek Brown, which I was immediately like, no, we're not giving up Derek Brown. He's the best run-stopping defensive tackle in the league. And Brian Burns. We traded Brian Burns the next season because we didn't want to sign him to an extension. Just give him up then. Then you keep your number one wide receiver, and you get a rookie quarterback who has a guy to throw to. Instead of just throwing to DJ Chark.
Honestly, I root for Bryce just because I like underdogs, but awful haul for Bryce.
No, it was a sad day.
It would have been completely different if you did that for like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, if you're getting a guy like, oh, you know, is going to hit. Yeah.
Like Heisman caliber QBs.
Well, I think the problem with just that draft in general is, I think Frank Reich, who's the head coach at the time, wanted CJ Stroud. I think they wanted Stroud. They wanted Stroud, and then Levis was their QB2.
Stroud is definitely the best option in that draft.
Yeah,
in my opinion. That's because of his physicals.
But like you had Stroud and you had Levis, because Frank Reich loved big, tall, pocket passing quarterbacks who had some mobility, because you were not designed to mobility. Instead, the ownership, and I think the GM, fell in love with Bryce through conversation. He's incredibly talented, and smart. The problem is Bryce was always the better quarterback when you got him outside the pocket, because he can make guys miss with his feet behind the line of scrimmage and stand poised outside the pocket and throw dots. We saw it this season. Like, throughout the season, I watched so many highlights where it's him like, oh shit, the pocket broke down, let me scrum out to the side, and he just stands there, fires the ball to Ted Rogan and gets blasted and stands up. It's like, great. Was he in the pocket? No. But they wanted a pocket passer. Their scheme was built for a pocket passer. And then they fired Frank Reich, brought in Dave Callis. Dave Callis went,
you're going to like what I have to say.
Bryce Young is just better when he's moving.
Bryce Young is the Jameis Winston of Caleb Williams.
Honestly, yeah. You know what?
It's like this thing I said earlier. It's like Wan'Dale Robinson is the Randy Moss of Pop Douglas's. I said that to my
he's the guy you're like, okay, he's gonna be your number 2. He'll blow up, he'll pop off for 100.
Really good route running, short, fast, reliable.
Yeah,
hand.
But
so, like, honestly, that the Titans are loaded. Bills are looking all right. They are missing some offensive line pieces because they're in free agency, but that's also because they don't have a lot of this.
I don't got money.
That's okay, because you have 6'5".
I still think the Bills though will be
Josh
good.
Allen as your quarterback, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I still think the Bills will be good.
It's the Bills, dude.
And to be fair, that division is like I was thinking about this today as I was watching
the Patriots and the Bills in that division right now.
I was thinking about this day as I was watching the teams pop up, and I was trying to think about the divisions, and I was like, the AFC East is a 2-team division between the Patriots and the Bills. The NFC North, we'll get to that in a second. The AFC South, the AFC South is just the Jags, the Texans, whoever feels like winning that division, basically. Indy you can kind of stick up, and then you have like the AFC West. It's
Titans might be sneaky.
It's Denver and Kansas City when Kansas City is healthy are the 2 teams who are like the cream of the crop in that division. Yeah, you get LA, but it depends on how Justin Herbert feels like.
It depends how healthy that team is.
Yeah. And so I was thinking about like the AFC North and the NFC South, as much as everyone says the NFC South is just a crap division, it just feels like the AFC North, the NFC South are the same side, are two different, are the two sides of the same coin. I.e., they're just two different versions of a bar fight. Like the NFC North is just all drag out like
the AFC North like
a Kingsman fight, style, right? Just a Kingsman style bar fight is the AFC North, where just everyone's fighting. The AFC South is just a bunch of drunks leaning up against each other, swinging a bottle here or there. It's like that. You're like, okay.
Think of it this way: AFC North is like a bunch of bikers get into a bar fight, right? And the AFC South is like a bunch of gays get into a bar fight.
It's just like it's the bikers, like a movie bar fight is the AFC North. Like
fight
bottles cracking, like someone's lighting fire, someone's getting stabbed
to a different extent.
Someone's getting stabbed, and the NFC South is like a legitimate real world bar fight where it's one drunk guy just yelling his head off, and the other people just throw him out into the street, and that's the bar fight.
Screaming and crying,
and then he stands around and just says to people and goes, "Yeah, I got into a fight last night." It's like, no, you got thrown out of the bar because you started yelling.
You guys were shoving each other for 4 minutes.
It's you know what it was is the Jake Paul is the NFC South. And the guy he just fought is the NFC North. It's just hugging. Jake Paul's just leaning on him. The AFC South just, that's not boxing. That's you just leaning on a guy. But like, it's just, I think day 2 might be more exciting for day 3 because I think day 2 you'll start to see a little bit more of the trades from a free agency standpoint. Because like
I don't know, big names are gonna get thrown around, dude.
Like. I don't think big names are going to get thrown around, but I think you're going to see a lot more like teams, right? Because Wednesday's when basically everyone's going to restructure. Because Wednesday, I think
Sean Weinstein.
I think Wednesday by noon, every team has to become cap compliant, so they can sign these outrageous deals at some point. But by Wednesday, they need to make sure they're within the salary cap limit before stuff happens. So like tomorrow, I think you'll see a bunch of either trades or restructurings as these big names start to kind of fly off the board. But the one name who's still available that I think is interesting because it kind of proves a team right is Trey Hendrickson, because he didn't sign with the Bengals because he wanted more money purely off his production, because he's like, I'm a top 5 edge rusher based off my production. I should be paid like one. And the Bengals went, no, you can't stay healthy.
You're 31 years old.
It's not even his age. It's no, you can't tell. Yeah, the production's there, but you can't stay healthy. You had a down year. We're not paying you like a top rated edge rusher. Go to free agency. He's still available. And like the edge rushers who've been signed, just those deals have been nasty. Like, okay, hold on. Let me pull up. Hold on. Give me a second.
I'm just going to name them off. Odefe
Okay. I wish you could sort by position. Crap. Okay. So the edge rushers. So the edge rushers signed. The Falcons signed Cam Thomas, 1 year, $3.1 million. That doesn't really mean anything. The Panthers gave Jalen Phillips 4 years, $120 million with 80 of that guaranteed. Decent. Boye Mafe, the Bengals side, Boye Mafe, 3 years, $60 million.
That's a good replacement, honestly.
Good replacement for him, right? You have that. Daniil Hunter got a 1 year, $40 million extension from the Texans. Arden Key got 2 years, $20 million, $11 million of that guaranteed. And Arden Key is like a 3-4 edge. He's a guy you just stick out there when your number one needs a break, right? Kwity Paye got 3 years, $48 million. Malcolm Kuntz got 1 year, $11 million.
You call me?
Kuntz.
Okay.
Like the edge, Draymond Jones. The Patriots signed Draymond Jones to a 3 years, $3.9 million deal, or a $39 million deal. So there were edge rushers signed in the first wave of free agency. Joseph Osai, 3 years, $36 million.
Talk about Odefe Owe.
Yeah, like Odefe Owe got signed. Let me find the Commanders. Where the hell did they go? 4 years, $100 million. And Trey Hendrickson's still available. He has no market for what he's asking for because people look at the production, they look at the fall off, they look at the age, they look at the injury. He wants more money than he's worth. And I think he's a guy who's honestly, he's one of those veterans who doesn't sign until training camp. a team gets in there and goes, "Oh, we need edge help. Yeah, here's a 1-year deal." Like I have a feeling he's like there's a few of those guys.
$25 million deal, take it or leave it. Bum.
Yeah, like he's just one of those guys. He's a DeAndre Hopkins. He's at that point. D Hop, an Odell Beckham, like one of these guys who's just floating around. Who's like, yeah, I'll sign a 1-year deal to go play with you. Like,
if he genuinely thinks he's worth like Max Crosby, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Brian Burns money, no. Dude, you're not. I still think Brian. I don't even have Trey Hendrickson really in my top 10, honestly, and edge rushers. I don't. And I honestly, him being number 1 in free agency, give me a fucking break, dude. Honestly.
So Brian Burns, when he was traded to the Giants, signed a 5-year, $140 million contract, and he's barely considered He's barely, but he's like one of those guys who's barely considered a top 10 edge rusher. Like he's like 7 or 8 on most people's boards.
He's like 6 on mine, honestly.
But like still, like he's about like, and so Hendrickson's just asking for, in my opinion, just too much. And I at 31 years old, I think he's a guy who will sign it at training camp. And with to a team that just looks at their edge core and goes, yeah, we thought we were gonna have a great thing. We didn't get the guys we wanted to draft. We need an edge help. We need another pass rusher. Here, like he's in the Jadeveon Clowney is the perfect like person he's in. Clowney is a 1-year journeyman veteran as of this now. Yeah, I think he's still in the Cowboys.
Obviously, I think Trey Hendrickson's a little bit better than that.
But he's better than Clowney. But like he's in that mold of you're 31, so you're gonna bounce around from team to team. You'll have your pick of team.
And people have to take into consideration of what value actually is. Because like if you're Trey Hendrickson, you're sitting here like, oh, I'm 31 years old. I just got off an injury. My best season was 2 seasons ago. Well, I am asking for at least $100 million over, let's say, 4 years. Yeah, I'm looking at like Jalen Phillips deal, definitely always deal, noticing that their age, they're like where they played, how young they are, and their intangibles. I'm looking. Well, I'm not going to sign you. You're asking for too much. You are 4 years older than Odefe Owe, and I could get just as good as production as like as every other year you've played besides 2024 out of Odefe Owe. And then same with Jalen Phillips, because Carolina's defense is already pretty good.
They need a pass rush,
right? He's 27 years old too, and I like Jalen Phillips. I like his hands. I like how aggressive he is, and if I'm looking at him compared to, Hendrickson,
I'll cover. Yeah,
I'm going with Jalen Phillips just because he's younger.
Well, if you're talking like with Jalen Phillips, basically, Jalen Phillips has never been a production guy, right? His rookie year, he had 8.5. His second year, he had 7.
As well.
But it's that he's also had some. When he's healthy, he's a really good edge rusher. Now he's never had double-digit sacks, but he's also very rarely played a full season. But the one thing, like I had a conversation with someone who asked me why sign Jalen Phillips for that much money. And I said because what he does for the Panthers defense is he's the 4th best edge rusher when it comes to pressure rate. Mm-hmm. He gets the 4th most amount of pressure. Like
dude, in 5 seasons,
he gets really good pressure. And to me, that's what I look at it and go, yeah, he doesn't get a lot of sacks, but he's now playing on a defensive line that had like in Philly, yeah, he had 2 sacks with the Eagles, but his role was we're gonna let you get pressure on the quarterback. You might not get a sack, but your job is to keep him in the pocket and allow our fat men in the middle to take him down.
They have Jalen Carter.
That's the Eagles. Now he's playing with Derek Brown, and I think Jalen Phillips can probably get 8.5 sacks on the Panthers, but I think his role will be your job is to keep the quarterback in the pocket.
Yeah, seal the edge.
A lot of your sacks will be cleanup sacks where he's just dipping, diving, and dodging, and you just get on him.
QB hits, basically.
Yeah, but your job is to keep him in the pocket and force him to our fat guys in the middle. And I think he's going to be really good at that. And if he can stay healthy, he can probably get 10 sacks because he's now the number 1 edge.
And honestly, I like that a little bit more than Trey Hendrickson because let's say just because it's a new defense, and honestly, I feel like
Yeah.
this defense fits Jalen Phillips way. The Panthers defense fits Jalen Phillips way more than the Eagles defense does, just because there's less big names on the Panthers defense, and so I feel like he could have like an 11.5 sack season next year, right?
Exactly.
That's pretty good. Those are really solid numbers, and honestly, that puts you like top 15 on most people's charts. Like Trey Hendrickson, like injury, his age, he's a lineman. That's what the value is. He's a lineman. Most NFL linemen's careers are 7.5 years long.
And on top of that, like he's just Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson has always been just a heavy-handed.
I'm not even looking at it for like. Of course I'm taking in considering the money he wants, but I'm taking in consideration how old he is, the injury he just had, and compared to like other people, right? And how healthy they are and what their production status are. Obviously, Jalen Phillips isn't, super healthy, but he's still young and he has a lot more intangibles than Trey Hendrickson at 31, dude. And honestly, it's been a conversation for what 2 years now.
2 years, yeah. What are you doing with him? But it's even that. It's you look at just Hendrickson has always been just a pure heavy-handed edge rusher. Like you look at his first 3 years in the season when he was with New Orleans, he basically was listed as a linebacker. Rarely saw the field, didn't have a lot of production. Then got flipped to edge, had a great season, signed in Cincinnati, bounced off that. And if we are gonna do this the old school way and just look at sack total and go, that's a guy I want. He gets a lot of sacks. Fine, but I think Hendrickson's style is he's a heavy hand. He's just gonna put his ears back and go. He isn't great against the run. He's okay in other places. He's never had more than just maybe 40 sacks in a season. Or not 40 sacks, sorry, 40 tackles in the season. So he's not super duper effective in any other aspect of racking up and stopping, setting the edge. He's a pure edge rusher. And I think that's just when you're 31 coming off an injury in a down year as just a designated pass rusher, especially a guy who fights with his hands, you're gonna run into a lot of issues with the contract.
And even because all that in consideration, my whole thing is if I'm an NFL GM and I'm looking at him battle with his front office about a deal,
what headaches he's gonna cause for you?
It's exactly and then it's like, okay, if I add this guy to my locker room. And let's say like I just re-signed one of my better players, right? And they got way more money than him. Like, how is he going to handle that if I sign him to my team? And let's say like I re-sign like one of my linebackers or one of my other defensive linemen to like a $98 million deal, and then I get Trey Hendrickson for like 85, right? Let's say that. Like, how is he going to handle the fact that I just like what he thinks? Like, it's like just more like a personality. You're going to add that into your locker room, and personally. All right, I'm all set.
It's that, and it's also like I don't know how much of a headache he'd be in a locker room, but it's also one of those things of like what is he in terms of just right? Like you put it out, you sign an edge rusher, and you re-sign your guy, and he's making more money than Hendrickson, but he had a down year, right? Hendrickson had 10 sacks, and this guy had 8. But you sign this guy to a mass extension. Well, Hendrickson's going to look at you potentially and go, well, I want more money now. My deal's up next year. I want more money. Extend me now. I want money. Here's my production. And you look at him and you go, well, the guy we just extended is 26 years old.
Front office for 2 years without a deal and you got nothing.
Well, it's not even the battle.
You're gonna come here with that same bullshit.
Yeah.
And you're mad as fuck because I just gave someone who I obviously have more trust in.
Keep going.
Right?
We got breaking news.
So, oh shit, dude.
Breaking news. Devin Lloyd reached agreement 3 years, $45 million deal with the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, fuck.
Oh baby. Fuck. Time to go. Let me go to Twitter. Let's see what's popping off.
Fuck.
Devin Lloyd is, as of right now, is a Carolina Panther. Uh-oh.
That's huge.
Someone get the tissues. Mom, get the tissues. Kind of nut. Get the tissues.
Oh shit. Big fucking day for Carolina. Big fucking day for Carolina.
Revamp the whole defense.
Here's the conversation about Trey Hendrickson now. Because you have Jalen Phillips, now you have Devin Lloyd.
I don't think they go get no. I think they like
not talking about getting Trey Hendrickson, but this is what I mean.
He's now the top free agent available.
You're now the top free agent available, but think of it.
So they just gave Devin Lloyd $15 million.
What's your production going to be like with everyone else around you?
Exactly.
I think because now with Devin Lloyd here, he's really good and all over the field, in my opinion. Really good hips, not that old, pretty fast.
He's 27.
Great tackling, great pass coverage. You can have him do basically anything you want in the box for your defense. This opens up a lot of opportunities for Derek Brown.
For Derek Brown, you now get Jalen Phillips. The biggest weakness on Carolina was their defense last year. Their linebacker core couldn't cover for shit and was oft injured. Right, like their second year linebacker who's flashed in moments, Trevin Wallace. Like the first half of their season, they had Christian Roseboom calling plays. That was not what Roseboom was good at. Roseboom was good at just tucking his ears and going and just playing football.
Like Twitter right now and feel
like that. Then after the Dolphins game, they flipped the play call. So they gave it to the second year quarterback, and the linebacker core seemed to play better. The problem is none of them could cover for shit. And when you're covering tight ends, that's how a team attacks you. Like that's how the Rams.
$5 million deal. That's not bad at all.
No, it's really $15 million a year, but I don't know how much of it's guaranteed. I didn't see that. But like, I look at it that and like the Panthers couldn't cover tight ends for shit, at all, and that's how the
what is Jacksonville doing?
What
is going on?
This is what happened. We'll get Jacksonville in a
minute. For starters, they're already having opening talks about Brian Thomas Jr. They just got rid of their starting running back.
They just got rid of their best linebacker because they re-signed a cheaper guy for him. But like,
they also just confirmed that they're keeping Travis Hunter locked
as a cornerback.
So what the?
And they don't have a first round pick this year.
No, and they don't have one next year.
Nope. It is. They went fully F them picks for Travis Hunter, and then they went, oh, we don't know what we're doing. And it's like, yeah. But let me finish my Panthers point real quick.
I want to give a round of applause for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You are now the official AFC lolcow of the fucking AFC now.
Oh my God.
I'm so happy.
Let me quickly finish my Panthers point, and then we'll jump to Jacksonville. So, again, their linebackers couldn't cover for shit.
Wow.
That's how the Rams beat them in the playoffs, as they went 3 tight end set and just went, we're going to throw tight ends because you can't cover tight ends. To the point where they're putting their safety, the safety they signed last year, Trayvon Merrick, who projected as a safety who could just play inside the box, basically a hybrid linebacker, out deep to cover. And I was like, that's just dumb. But you have to have them cover your tight ends because your linebackers can't. Your linebackers don't know their lefts from their rights. They now got the new leader of their defense, allowing to move their young player, Trevin Wallace, who has shown flashes, to being linebacker 2. Like the Panthers in a matter of a day just revamped their defense.
They basically just bridged their linebacker 2 to be just to get a little bit more development and to take pressure off of him. So
that too, but they also the one thing I'd had conversations with is depending on what they did in free agency is where they were going at 19. So they've set themselves up basically to go best player available, which a lot of people think is going to be Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, who's just an athletic monster. I would not be shocked if they took a linebacker at 19 to pair with Devin Lloyd. If they took one of those guys who's just really good at run stuffing, just an absolute thumper at 19, I wouldn't be shocked.
One of these linemen available, honestly.
But also, I wouldn't be shocked if they go off. Like, I think in the draft, they're going to draft an offensive tackle because they need to replace. So their current left tackle's hurt. Kevin Kwanu tore basically everything his knee. Doesn't look like he'll be ready till about mid-season, if anything. So you're going to need to get a left tackle at least for replacement. And then your right tackle's 32, 33 and could retire in a year or two. So I think you draft an offensive tackle at 19, let him play left tackle for a year, re-sign the left tackle who's hurt because he was a decent left tackle when he was there. He's solid. Move that young guy to right tackle and call it a
Okay,
day.
so with that signing, by the way, I think you guys have $7 million in cap after that.
Yeah, we signed 3 players today.
And honestly, all really good players.
We signed Jalen Phillips, Devin Lloyd, and Kenny Pickett.
Really good players.
Well, we signed Kenny Pickett. I saw we signed Kenny Pickett, and I was like, oh, that's fun. We signed Kenny Pickett to basically be one competition to Bryce and 2 backup. And I don't know how
more of a fire underneath the kid's asshole
to say, yeah, because you had he's for his entire career he's had Andy Dalton. Now he's heading into contract year, and it's like, okay, we're gonna build up the competitiveness. And if Bryce gets hurt, you have a quarterback who can go out and win you 2-3 games. Like, I like the Kenny Pickett signing purely for 3 reasons. 1, he gives Bryce Young competition. 2, he's a guy you would feel comfortable putting in that to start if Bryce went down and got hurt or Bryce just sucked. You knew you'd put him in for a year or 2. Like, you're like, okay, he can at least win us a couple games. And 3, who says you don't draft a young guy in like the 5th or 6th round and then at the deadline say like Cleveland comes knocking or, Vegas comes knocking or a team's start or Atlanta comes knocking because Michael Penix can't stand and Tua thinks he's playing Pokemon. Like, so you trade him you could trade him at deadline for picks.
Rams have.
Who?
How many draft picks did the Rams give up the last 8 years?
They've given up a ton, but I think they've recouped a little. No, they're back in FDM pick mode.
They just gave up a fuck ton to the Chiefs.
Yeah, like
they have 22 million cap.
Jesus.
I don't like that. I actually don't like looking at the Rams on paper right now.
The problem is the Rams are in win now mode because what the Rams are basically doing is the Rams
this look at Stafford's last year.
As long as like, and if that means this season they ride it off into the sunset with Stafford and they say they win the Super Bowl this season and they ride off into the sun with Stafford and like you get just like they ride on, so they win a Super Bowl with Stafford.
Over that signing.
Then you could easily get like Stafford retires as Super Bowl champion, McVay retires. You basically reset. They're in win now mode. That's what the Rams.
Yeah, I don't think McVay will retire.
No, but like I don't. If like the Rams are in cap hell, no draft picks, and it's going to be like a 5-year rebuild, I could see McVay going, I'm going to leave and go do TV because I'm going to make $20 million doing TV for a year and a half and then come back when a team needs a good head coach. Basically pull a Mike McCarthy or pull a Urban Meyer or like one of those guys who goes and does TV for a year until TV.
Matt Gay.
Have you seen the meme of Fernando Mendoza as a Raider?
No,
it's the photo of Max Crosby when he got drafted with the blonde hair, no tattoos, whatever. And then it's him like Josh at the end of his career where he's got like all the tattoos.
I'm getting caught up with all this.
Like it's with him all the tattoos, and then it's just Fernando Mendoza with a shaved head and neck tattoos, and it's like what 5 years in Vegas will do to you. Like it's the funniest thing in the world. I'm gonna send it to you. Hold on.
This is live. Okay, perfect. So I have this pulled up live. That's a huge signing for you guys.
Yeah.
That's really good.
We've had a pretty decent offseason. And that, like, I was reading reports the entire day where it's like, yeah, the Panthers love Devin Lloyd. They like Devin Lloyd. And then they signed Jalen Phillips. I'm like, well, we're not going to sign Devin Lloyd. He's going to be the next big, like, free agent signing that's going to come off the board. Hadn't come off the board. I was like, huh. And then I read another thing. It's like, yeah.
Why does Mendoza look badass?
Like but you see what I'm saying? It's Mendoza in a few years in Vegas, but it's the like so. While it was this entire day, they signed Jalen Phillips, and I was like, okay, Devin Lloyd's going to come off the board, so they're going to like they like. And then I saw Tremaine Edmonds, who's like their plan B, come off the board. I was like, oh my god.
That was a really good signing for
New York. Then the Raiders took Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. I was like, okay, so we're either getting Devin Lloyd or we're getting Caden Ellis from Atlanta.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, that's perfect. So we basically addressed every issue and every signing for our teams, for both of our teams, some other teams that we care about.
Yeah.
Giants, dude. What are they missing? A line, offensive line, and just one more receiver,
I
and
think, yeah.
maybe one more piece in the secondary.
Who'd they
Why the
sign?
fuck is nobody scared right now?
Of the Giants?
Why? Why? Okay, I have a bunch of sleeper teams right here in
Oh,
front of
I
me.
got,
Just after day one,
yeah.
Tennessee, the Saints,
Mhm.
the Giants, the Raiders. If they fucking nailed this draft,
Yeah.
I honestly, holy fuck, dude, they could honestly be like a wild card team next year. So
The Raiders are my favorite to go to be like the one of those worst to first teams where it's like they went from being the worst team in their division to winning their division. I could see them
I
if
can't say
they
that for the Giants just because the fucking Eagles still
but
exist.
if the Raiders nail their draft, let's just say that they get Mendoza and Mendoza turns out to be everything he needs to be for a rookie, which is competent, makes good passes, turns has some turnover issues, but nothing you can't overcorrect. If he turns into like that and they can get either another offensive lineman at 14 or a wide receiver, they could win that division because I don't really trust the Broncos entirely. We don't know what we're going to get in the Chargers because their offensive line could fall apart again. We don't know what the Chiefs are going to look like for half the year if Mahomes isn't healthy. And that
I
receiving course
really don't think
iffy.
he's coming back until like later in the season.
But
He fucking tore everything off his knee
can
with like 3 weeks left in the year.
can I give you my sleeper teams?
I'm
So
trying to I'm trying to think a little bit
we got
because Denver. Well, I was going to touch on the Raiders. Didn't
yeah.
Denver just sign? I know they re-signed J.K. Dobbins, but didn't they just sign somebody else?
Let me see. Let me see. Where's Denver? Where's Denver? Let me click fucking. Denver, Pittsburgh. I don't think they did much this thing in Denver. Where are you, Denver? Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Houston, Green Bay, Detroit.
They re-signed one of their
Denver hasn't signed anyone. They basically just retained everybody.
and they released Dre Greenlaw.
Yes, they haven't re-signed anyone, but like, right,
So,
the Raiders could be a decent team. So
yes, I feel it also depends on when Bo next comes back for the Broncos next year because he did fracture his fucking ankle.
So my sleeper teams for this upcoming season are one the Raiders, two the Cardinals. I think they could be weirdly good. Yes, they don't have a quarterback, but I think that they're running essentially what the Rams offense is. The Titans are there. I think the Titans definitely could be a really good team to keep your eyes out for. And like there aren't too many teams I could see. Like I'm still iffy on the Dolphins. It just depends on what they do with Tyreek Hill and how Malik Willis looks.
I don't think the Dolphins could be that good.
No. But like, so I have the Giants, I have the Raiders.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. I have the Giants, I have the Raiders, I have the Jets because I think the Jets could be one of those teams that they may be in the hunt late in the season for the wild card. They probably won't make the playoffs, but they could be one of those teams where it's like, ooh, I didn't realize they were 6-10.
This one here was like,
right? Yes, but they made some decent like. The best way I could describe the Jets signings today.
I like how you have the other New York team.
Yeah. Like the best way I can describe the Jets signings is they made what I would call adult signings. Like so they brought in Joseph Osai, an edge rusher, to kind of bolster that. They brought in Demario Davis. Yes, he's old, but he's a veteran linebacker. You can kind of add some veteran depth to you. You have David Onyemata, who's a decent defensive tackle. Kingsley Engbare, who's an okay edge rusher. They brought in Minkah Fitzpatrick and then restructured his deal. And they brought in Dane Belton, who's a young safety. So they revamped their safety core. On top of you have Breece Hall on the free agent tag. You have Jawan Briggs, and like they basically brought in a bunch of veteran talent. So they could be. I don't think they're going to be a worst to first team, but I think they're going to be a team where you're sitting in November, and they're like, you're sitting November and they're right around 500. Like, oh my god, they won 5 games. Like
more leaning that way, just because they're obviously they have a better head coach. Their team has a lot more talent. And in my opinion, the only reason why they lost so many of those games last year is because one, coaching, and the fact that they were so hurt on offense.
Yeah.
Like that Denver game, what the fuck?
That Denver game is what got Dable fired, and I don't think Dable should have been fired. At least after that game. It's just
Denver. You kept them around for another fucking week? I would have killed him.
Yeah, but like,
Then you want to know why the reason why they lost that fucking game is because they kept making Jackson Dart throw the ball around, and he threw fucking a pick six.
Well, you kind of want him to stay healthy. He doesn't like to slide.
Well, run the ball.
Run the ball. Hit it, Tyrone.
Why are you going for big plays right now?
That's why I think the Giants
points. It's 30-3. What are you doing?
That's why I think the Giants could be a sneaky good team to draft Jeremiah Love if he makes it out of the top 4. Purely because, like, imagine that running back core of you have him, you have Scat, and you have Tyrone Tracy. Now Tyrone Tracy probably becomes expendable out of those two. But he's older. But Jeremiah Love is your right first, second, third down back. Scat's okay. We need 5-6 yards. We're going to hand it to Cam Scatabo because he'll just run through a wall. Like, and then Tyrone Tracy, if one of those guys needs a break or you want to run a if you have those 3 running backs in your backfield, you can run a 3-run. You basically run essentially the Army offense, and you have Jackson Dart running. You have your 3. You basically have Scat play fullback, Tyrone Tracy, Jeremiah Love is the other 2 running backs. You basically just run those like little flick outs to force defenders to commit, and you just run the ball. And then, I mean, yes, you have Malik Neighbors, but who says he's the same player after he comes back from his ACL tear? Like, that offense could be potent if they draft Jeremiah Love, purely because they could just run the Army offense. Just purely run only, triple option, just old school 1910s football where no one wore pads and they ran through the wall.
Shit, there's no fucking way, dog.
Just old school, the football your grandfather sat there and went, back in my day, we ran through a wall.
Dude, that offense is low-key going to be nice with just what they have right now. It's already looking decent when they're all healthy, of course, for weapons, because they have Jackson Dart, Scat, Tyrone Tracy, Malik. They have Darius Slayton. And now they have Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson. So they have the 2 tight end look that Harbaugh likes to run, obviously, but they're not worst to first. Commanders are still in that division. We'll see how the Unk squad does with Unk squad and Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels at this point is Unk. He's an Unk.
And then the Eagles still exist, of course.
Doesn't exist. Like, I think this, like, it's only been one day. I'm going to keep coming back to say that.
I'm an asshole. Why am I not including the Bengals?
Because I don't.
If Joe Burrow's healthy, they're a playoff team.
No, I don't know. I disagree. I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree purely because in order for them to be a playoff team, they're going to have to win their division, and they currently have no one who can block for Joe Burrow. And as much as I would love to see Joe Burrow,
that's not true.
As much as I would love to get back to Burrowhead, like, it's going to be tough for him to find Stephon.
There will be no Arrowhead in the playoffs next year again.
But it's going to be tough to find Jamar Chase and T. Higgins if you're constantly on your backside. Right? Like, as much as I think Joe Burrow is one of those quarterbacks who could probably throw a ball from his ass, it's tough to do.
Tom Brady did that.
It's tough to do when you have Myles Garrett schlong on your face, Max Crosby schlong on your face, and whatever TJ Watt's carrying around. Honestly, at this point,
around the entire Steelers.
Honestly, at this point, if I want to make Joe Burrow's life worse, I'm the Steelers. I'm calling JJ, going, "You want to come out of retirement for a year? We just want to make Joe Burrow cry."
Tua turned the ball over. I heard.
He's in Atlanta. Tua's in Atlanta. Yeah, they have 1-year deal. Stupidest signing I think of the entire day.
I sent you a meme of Tua being hurt and Michael Penix with his fucking legs all wrapped up.
Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons quarterback.
Oh my gosh! So that's iffy down there in Atlanta too.
Yes, and I I was listening to something today, and they're like, I think it's a smart signing as much as I think it's the dumb. It's the one of the worst signings so far. I think it's smart for Atlanta in that if Penix is not the same player, and say Penix sucks, say he comes back from his knee injury and just can't move, it basically turns into Kirk Cousins 2.0.
7.
Yeah, but but he turns into
3 years. What do you mean you're almost 27?
7. But it's that, and it's Kirk Cousins 2.0, where he's just not mobile. And Michael Penix struggles to throw it outside the numbers.
I gotta say it. No, he's done, dude. You're
27 coming off knee injury, but it's if say he's immobile and he just looks bad and Tua wins that thing out. Okay, fine. If they throw the same, you have the same blindside protections. The protections are relatively the same. They're both lefty.
Okay.
But if Penix is because if Penix is hurt, right? Say Penix starts and he gets hurt, you have another starting quarterback to come in who you're like, okay, fine, we can start Tua. Do I think Tua is going to be a full-time starter going forward? No.
Worst fucking top 10 QB drafts since Josh fucking Rosen, dude. Honestly, Michael Penix is 25 years old. Chris, he's had four leg surgeries to both legs.
You only got 2 legs.
You doubled it on both your legs.
At
You're
this
going to
point,
be 26 going into this next season, and you've been in the league for 3 years. You're done. I'm sorry.
That was an interesting draft. That was the interesting draft because that was the year they gave Kirk Cousins the like massive contract to be a starting quarterback, and then at pick 9 went. So what about Michael Penix? And they drafted him. It was like, what do you do? I guess
somebody else.
And I think everyone's like, that draft, everyone was sitting there going, I guess they're gonna sit him behind Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins signed for 3 years, making ass load of money. Is he gonna sit for 3 years and be 28 when he be 27 when he gets his first start? And they went no, because Kirk Cousins can't run. And so they're like, oh, okay, so we have to start Penix. It's like, well, Atlanta, I think, has a long way back, and I don't foresee them being better. But to kind of leave this, episode here, we talked a lot about free agency, and I will remind everyone for the umpteenth time, it's only day 1. Tomorrow and Wednesday are going to get even crazier. We covered a lot. We did our sleepers, and I think, and the next time,
another big thing's gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, we're gonna end this thing. We're gonna AJ Brown's gonna be a Patriot by the time we press stop record. Hold on.
I have the draft class right in front of my fucking face. I have it right here. Okay. Before Michael Penix was taken, or actually after, Roma Dunze, JJ McCarthy. I'm not going to attempt to say that Jets player's name. Holy fuck.
It's Elijah Veritaka.
No, it's
Olufashinu?
Yes, thank you. Brock Bowers. What the fuck are these names?
Hold on, I got you. I got you.
Byron Murphy, Dallas Turner, Amarius Mims, Jared Verse, Troy Fontu, or Fatanu, what the fuck his name? Chop Robinson.
Quinyon Mitchell, Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas.
Taron Arnold. Then you had Xavier Worthy, Tyler Guyton, Nate Wiggins. And in the second round, you had Cooper DeJean and Kamari Lasser, and you took Michael Penix. It's just anyway. We're gonna leave that here. Covered a lot in free agency. Day 2 and day 3 are just insane.
When you drafted Bo Nix when he was 24 because he didn't have 3 fucking leg injuries. Under his belt.
That and they didn't take him in the top 10. But yeah, so we covered a lot in free agency. Things are only going to get crazier, and the next time you see us, next time you hear from us, will be the Chris and Chris mock draft 1.0. The next episode will be mock draft 1.0. Footy, we'll set that date. We'll give you time to look at this draft class. You can make your picks and figure out the place.
I think the Browns should trade Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Carson Schweissinger, Shador Sanders, Quinshon Judkins, and Jerry Jeudy for every pick in the first.
Right.
In the first
honestly,
round.
They probably could get
every quarterback available.
Anyway, but it's good talking to you. Good coverage. Thank you for joining me here, buddy. Everyone else, have a good night.
Dog pound.